How you doing?
We're rolling, Gary.
We're rolling. It's now 6 o'clock, and everybody's coming together. The caterer just came, and this is the backyard, all set up. We have flowers on every table. We have heaters so it stays comfortable, and everything is looking good. We have some decorative lights around the pool.
This is the beautiful backyard in Gary's home here in Scottsdale, Arizona. This is a swimming pool. That's Barry, who's helping us. He lives across the street, and he's preparing everything for the birthday party. What you're visualizing now is a sculpture that was made by Jerry. I'm going to try and zoom in on it a little bit. It's quite a beautiful piece of
Oh yes!
It's pretty easy.
But there were other people
If I let go, how do I turn it off?
So she says, you're looking for a woman who cries and moans and bitches for 45 minutes? That's what you've been looking for? Well, what I found out in those early minutes is that when you speak to her, in a few minutes, you see sincerity, no airs, no fakery, no attitude, just naturalness. And as I have seen over the years, everyone, no matter their station in life, or their ethnicity, or color of skin, or religion, everyone is treated with utmost respect by Alice.
It's his birthday.
As one man who we both knew said about her, she has a quality of when you first meet her and talk for a few minutes, it doesn't take long before you feel you've known her for a long time.
Here, here. I have known.
Little did I know. Little did I know my life would change after marrying Alice, from having 1.5 distant friends to being close friends with 1,000 different people. The Tobias story is very much like the story of Fiddler on the Roof, which he played a few bars from a few seconds ago. I don't know how many realize, but the picture of the fiddler on a slanted roof playing the violin is a metaphor for how the Jewish people survived in Europe and in Asia for many, many years in the past. And our life, 80 years ago, could have turned very badly, or it could be what we have today. It all started in Pudebach, a tiny village in Germany on a small farm, a little nothing of a farm. My father living the simplest of lives, buying and selling cattle until the late 1930s, when his business ended. Hitler decreed that no one could do business with the Jewish people, and my father's business stopped. Furthermore, no doctors or midwife could deliver a Jewish woman. It turns out my mother was pregnant with me, and she was close to delivery time with me waiting to be born. She couldn't get delivered in our town where everybody knew her, so she hopped on a train to another town and hoped to find a doctor, and did find a doctor who would deliver her so I could get born. 50 years later, on the anniversary of Crystal Night, the night when the Germans destroyed all the synagogues and businesses, I went to visit that same town where I was born. I went to a meeting, and a man I had never seen before came up to me and said, "In this town, 50 years ago, a doctor at great danger to himself delivered the last Jewish baby in this area." And I said to him that I was that baby.
Amazing.
We were able to get to the United States due to relatives in the New York area that sponsored us, promising to give my father employment. We lived in the Bronx for 7 years. My father was working as a butcher, and he wanted to get back to farming. And so then for the next 11 years, before I went to college, I spent my time with my brother and sister on a farm in Goshen, New York. We had a different vocabulary in Goshen on the farm, different from almost everyone here. The vocabulary was balers, draft horses, manure, corn silage, silos, milking cows by hand, shipping fever, delivering calves, riding horses into the field. That was our life, and it was a very isolated type of life. I even helped my father do some kosher slaughtering on young cattle. It seems so very far removed today, and I know my parents would be incredibly happy if they could see us three standing here after all these years, and with all the accomplishments of all three of us. I know they would be very, very proud.
Lottie is going to read.
I have to get what I'm going to read.
To burn our computers.
Well,
Paperless. She went paperless.
Paperless, receiving money.
Give her the microphone.
Microphone.
68, there was a teacher strike in New York City, and both my husband and I were teachers. The schools were out for 2 months, and people were fleeing the city just to get away from all the turmoil. Well, while my husband was playing tennis, which he did every day, all day, I took 2 little girls and my son, a babe in arms, 8 months old, and we went to visit Uncle Jerry. We go to Uncle Jerry to have a good time, and he says, "I think I should take you around and you'll buy a house." Buy a house? Me with the baby and the 2 two little girls. He says, come and get in the car. So we go and we see one little house because people are fleeing. There are no houses for sale. One little high ranch house. We go in a few minutes and we go out and he says, buy it. I said, it's the ugliest house I've ever seen. He said, don't worry about it. My decorator will fix it up for you. I said, it doesn't have closets? He says, you don't have anything anyway. What do you care? He says, it has a one-car garage. He says, there's a street. I said, there's no central air. You don't need central air. Lottie, if you don't buy it, I'm going to buy it and give it to you. So I go home and my husband says, did you have a good time? What'd you do? I said, I bought a house. And that's where we lived happily for 21 years. The best thing that ever happened.
A letter here that came today from Europe, from Jerry's son, Kenny. And he asked me to read it to you. Okay? Dan and I really regret not being with you to celebrate your birthday. We're already overseas and we'll be seeing Dad very soon in Israel to celebrate together. I've asked Alice to take a moment to express how much Todd and I love our father. This is a pretty crazy planet. Life can't be counted on to be fair, and nothing can ever be guaranteed. With that perspective, it's hard to put into words how grateful we are to have been blessed with one of the world's best dads. Of course, no one is perfect, and there's no formula for raising a family. That said, Dad is, and has always been, the most dedicated, generous, and loving father I've ever been aware of. On top of all that, to this day, he's hysterically funny. So when you add all that up, you genuinely get one of the world's most exemplary dads. Todd and I have been and always will be profoundly grateful that we have been so blessed. Dad, wishing you a wonderful, joyful birthday and excited to see you very soon, sending all our love. This is a bit. Jerry doesn't know about this either. We have a friend, Ronnie Shossman, who was supposed to be here tonight, but they're in New Jersey and her husband's not well, and so they're not here. But Ronnie, even though she was a teacher, is a master songwriter. And she wrote a song about Jerry. And I want everyone to sing it. Barbara and I will sort of lead it. We have sticky voices, but it doesn't matter. And I'm going to give Jerry a copy so he can understand what she wrote. This song is so Jerry that it's almost unbelievable. So here's a copy. Come and sing. And everybody join in. Lady is a champion. Right there. Like Frank Sinatra. Ready? Okay. He's got a whiz that keeps us all on our toes. Sunshirts and zip-off pants are all of his clothes. He wears that fanny pack wherever he goes. That's why the gentleman is a champ. He loves in our show, he'll get all inspired, but he won't buy a piece of money's required. So he goes home and makes the one he's desired. That's why the gentleman is a champ. He loves to hike up a good mountain trail, fresh air to inhale, flowers and sun, he can name everyone. He loves a bridge game, and plays his wish. A meal of vegetables is his favorite dish. Then there's a good dessert to make it delish. That's why the gentleman is a champ. He'll build a sculpture of concrete for kicks. He uses golf clubs to make hiking sticks. There isn't anything that he cannot fix. That's why the gentleman is a champ. He tells the best tales you ever aged 80 years. A life so full, he had the best of careers. So let's all celebrate and give him 3 cheers for the gentleman in sunshine.
And I said, I thought these were your friends, Jerry. I guess, besides my sister, I've known him the longest. There was a time when I was the baby in the family. Fortunately, it only lasted about 18 months. One of my short-term careers.
Somebody locked that.
And then, as you, the history which goes, is interesting. It's too involved, but we did eventually come to America. Unfortunately, we became the terrorists of the Bronx. We didn't speak any English, and we didn't have any friends, so we roamed around the streets in the Bronx. I know that across the street from our apartment house was a bakery store, and we did things together that we would all three cross the street and we could hear the baker say, "The Germans are coming, close the door." Well, we finally became Americanized, and we remained terrorists. A friend of my father's came to visit us and he asked how it was with the children. And my father would say in German, "Es ist eine gefährliche Sache." It's a very dangerous situation. To improve our lifestyle, we moved to upstate New York in a small little town called Goshen, the land of Goshen, where we became dairy farming and in the cattle business. And then my father had full control of us, and our terrorist days, to a certain degree, were over. And one reason for that was he put us to work, and we did work. We did hard physical labor. Jerry and I alternated in the mornings to milk cows, and we alternated in the afternoon to come home early to help milk the cows, and we did that quite well. I ran the equipment, and Jerry seemed to be more involved with the dairy cattle, except for the deliveries, which I did. In turn, I became an obstetrician, I guess. There was one chore that he was happy that I had, and that was fixing the manure wagon. He was glad he didn't have to do that. But we had a good time. I don't know if you know it, but Jerry was quite a superb trumpet player. No. Played in the band. He was the best trumpet player the band had. He also went up to Cornell and was in the Big Red Band. And I have to tell you, my brother was famous in the field. He would play in the field. He was well known. My father would be asked, "How's your son doing?" He plays a trumpet. He's greatest in the field. And what he meant was, he couldn't stand that trumpet. He put my father in the middle of the field. And he'd say, my son is out playing in the field. He became a veterinarian. He also complained a great deal that I beat him mercifully. Because I was his big brother. That was the thing big brothers did, I think.
You did.
So, I didn't think it was that bad, so I went to speak to my mother. And in her impeccable German, I said, "Mom, did I beat him up that bad?" And she said, "Yeah." And I thought perhaps I tweaked his persona in that respect. On the other hand, this kid, big brother of mine, after only 2 years at Cornell, went into veterinary college, which was quite an achievement. He then later became a veterinarian, and then went to an advanced degree and became a diplomat of the College of Veterinary Medicine, which is quite an honor. He also published several papers on investigating the eye of the dog, in determining the age of the animal. He did a lot of research in X-ray radiation exposure to human beings, in which he wrote a lovely paper, quite detailed, and it's superbly written. So here's to my brother on his 80th birthday. I wish him well in many more years to come, and hopefully we will all be here again in the future.
Here, here.